Okay, we're back. I'm going in this direction. And I should probably sleep in a bed because I probably didn't do that last time. And I should probably fix my coordinates because I'm way off. So yeah, we got a bed. And we traveled a lot, but we didn't pick up any food, and I pretty much talked the whole time, so yeah, let's go pick up some mutton or something. We're at 30 levels, so if we need to, I can enchant something. I just watched the show, and I love it. It's called Silicon Valley. It is so good. Oh man, I've been laughing. Yay, floating water. Oops, I fell. Gotta love floating water. So yeah, let's get back to 0, and we'll make a furnace, and we'll cook our food. And yeah. So here's 0. We'll sleep first. And then now our spot's saved. So we don't have to stick there anymore. Let's go get some. Let's go get some. Do we have furnaces in the ender chest actually? Let me check. Yes, we do. Nice. Okay. So we got 30 levels. Don't have a silk touch diamond axe, or axe at all. We only need 15 of these bookshelves. Let's set this up. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. get rid of a few of these things, for now at least. Let's see what they show. So let's go ahead and see what we get. Fortune 2, efficiency, looting 2, which isn't bad. Feather falling 4. Wow, I don't know if I have that. I should have it. I do have it, okay. And it is going to break soon. So we don't really need to enchant it again because we can, technically we can just fix what we have. But, yeah. It is an available enchantment. Power 2, Protection 3, and Aqua Infinity. Affinity. Yeah, I don't... A flame bow would be nice to mix with a power bow eventually. Let's see. Our boots are disappearing, and so is our sword. We probably should instead just fix those. Probably. Three to fix the sword. Two to fix the boots. Which one's less? 37, 85. Let's go with the boots. And we could rename them. Eternal Booties. Yeah, let's go with that. Try to keep them forever. And then their sword. We could rename it, or we could just keep it the same. Let's keep it the same. Yeah, this one's good. That seems good. Yeah. And then we could just get some more wood. And that way we can just break down our shelves, and if we want to craft them back into shelves, we can just craft them back into shelves. No big deal. So yeah, let's go ahead and put these things back. And then let's just break these. And I didn't craft enough of them, so we'll have to get some more wood. So yeah, today's been an interesting day. Got a lot of food from the store. Nothing too exciting going on. I keep hearing, I guess there's a cave right under here. Not paying too much attention. Maybe I should try to use Silk Touch to break the bookshelves. I'm not sure which one's more efficient, to just make new ones or to try to break the old ones. I'm just not sure. Seems like it does take a lot of wood to remake them though. It takes a few trees, so it's probably not worth it. Yeah, I think from now on I should try to just Silk Touch them. It does take a while, but it's probably faster than this. This seems ridiculous. No. Yeah, I got an extra book, which is not cool. I'll just get rid of it. I don't want it. I just don't want the inventory space. Okay, so we'll put mycelium there. Yeah, seems good. What else do we need to put in there? I don't know. Coal, maybe, maybe not. We do have an entire... Seems like I need to go sleep in the bed now, again. So we got the Silk Touch. There we go. We got our backpack. We could sleep again in the bed. Or we could just move on. Yeah. So let's move on. So, how's everybody doing? I like it. I remember watching Ethos videos. It's been a long time since he was popular. It's been an interesting last 4 years. I've been pretty much at college this whole time. And I played a lot of Minecraft, like a ridiculous amount of Minecraft. And I also procrastinated and or tried to study my own things while also being in school. I'm one of those crazy people that are like convinced they can change the world. So, yeah. At least I like to call myself that because I basically realized that something that I was working on had the effect that that it would essentially replace the use of chalkboards and or notebook paper in the near future, or in the future eventually, due to some things that are kind of difficult to explain, things that aren't really necessary at certain levels, but my hypothesis, or my maybe conjecture, I would call it more of a hypothesis since it's not an exact mathematical statement. But my hypothesis that there is, well, it's kind of a conjecture because it's kind of a mathematical property. Basically, there's the idea that it is true that there is. It's still something I would have to make sure that this statement is absolutely true, but it seems to be true that, in my mind, that most problems that people work on tend to be either something that they practice and therefore know the specific context to which they are working on, if the context is complex. So as long as they're an expert, then it's okay. Then they can kind of work with a complicated context. But if it's not, then it's simple enough to where people can just kind of work on these things on a chalkboard or on paper. My conjecture is that there are complicated contexts, so complicated that it's not worth trying to get someone to be an expert in, and or it's so complicated that it's actually impossible for a human to spend their time kind of dealing with it. So, yeah. If you look at some proofs, like if you look at some real analysis proofs, you can actually map them to a small set of axioms, and a computer should be able to brute force a lot of the shorter ones, as long as the search space is small. And as long as you can search types and things like that, that's essentially how proofs can be made or figured. And if somebody's going to do that on paper, that's a lot slower. You might think like, well, isn't someone able to be creative and all these things? Well, when somebody's trying things for a proof, usually the only way you can really, I believe that the only way someone can actually be creative is either with prior knowledge of something or with visualization of something, which means our brains are actually like already good at essentially picturing things. So when it comes to like real analysis, we tend to picture functions and graphs, and we can think of, oh, well, what if we try, proving it using a delta that's like half of this epsilon, because we can visually see that it'll fit or something like that. But what if your proof space is not necessarily going to be obvious that it's something you can visualize, or not even something that is commonly visualized at all? I mean, we come up with stuff. We come up with graphs and this or that. But, and this goes over first for designing software too. Designing an algorithm is basically, in my mind, similar to designing or coming up with a proof. Because basically, that's what an algorithm is. If it's a good algorithm, you essentially, might have to come up with a proof for what the algorithm does, but to say that it's equivalent maybe to another one, but if it's a better runtime, who came up with that faster algorithm? There had to have been a proof for something like that, like the number of spanning trees for a graph. The standard definition is exponential, but a faster way to solve it is actually polynomial, which is very interesting to me. And I think it's funny that all this hype about Google's AI that plays Go and all this stuff, and they're saying, oh, well, the theory wasn't new, it's just how we applied what was already there. And I just don't understand why people don't already get that. Like, that's, like, to me, that's so obviously true. Like, it's so obvious. I mean, we have these algorithms that are so useful. Obviously, they're not getting used to their fullest extent. I mean, we have BFS, breadth first search algorithm, and somebody might say, oh, that's been around for a while. If we could use it for something, we would have already. No, that's not true. That's not true. That's in genetic algorithms is a specific pruned BFS. And neural networks is a type, it can be mapped to some very simple algorithms as well. Have we used them for a lot of things? I don't even think we've used them a lot, as a society, as we have not used these a lot. And yeah, it's just when they say we learned how to apply them, I just want to like hit myself in the head, just do the whole slap my forehead thing. The word apply, refers to the functional application. If you want to represent this formally, like you can. I've been on this telling people kind of like, hey, this is how you construct things. This is how you construct an AI program. This is how you construct a complex software program. This is how you construct a fuzzy type algorithm. This is how you construct pretty much anything. You use the functional style. And that's exactly what they had to do. They had to take multiple algorithms, multiple neural nets or whatever, things to tailor the computation space that they needed to work with. They needed to select the right algorithms to kind of do the jobs that they needed to do. There's multiple jobs And the way you relate those jobs is kind of a functional relationship. I mean, that's just how it works. That's just how algorithms and functions work. They have their parameters. Yeah. Anyway, just look up into the AlphaGo AI. I'm not too interested in that particular example, but I think it's funny that people thought that it wasn't like computable or something, even though it makes perfect. Like, I don't get why people don't think. I mean, statistics has been around for how long? And we've had neural networks, we've had people been talking about them, and people talking about genetic algorithms and all this stuff. Like, how can something like this not be ready? I mean, yeah, you have a board of however many spaces, and it's a lot of search space if you want to brute force it. But I mean, we have tons of heuristic algorithms. We have tons of things like this. And as soon as you get into like decision making for something that has a really wide search space, I mean, that's exactly what neural networks are for. That's exactly what they do. I mean, they mimic the brain. So I mean, if a human's gonna do it, and they're gonna get good at it, like they're actually able to train themselves. That's a very primitive part of our brain. To train ourselves to learn how to to see these patterns. That's not like, I don't get like why Chomsky. I watched a video of Chomsky being interviewed. I don't get why he doesn't think AI is coming very soon. Like, there's a lot of there's an extremely big difference between approximated AI and global maxima AI. There's like the difference is like like ridiculous. Like, having an AI that's as strong as humans is like easy compared to that. Like, it is an extremely simple, easy task compared to making like a global maximum for something. That's it. It's like me going outside in Minecraft and building like a dirt house and being like, look, I made this. Took me a while, but compared to building a castle out of, diamond blocks, and it's easy. So yeah, I mean, because just the mere computational power of the brain is it's not that much if you think about it in this scheme of thing, and how much we have. It's just, I mean, it's a very specified system and everything, and it works well for, it works well for its what it's got, but I mean, other than that, a brain, when you're just looking at the computational aspect of the brain, not assuming it's connected to anything else or so on and so forth, it's not that, like, it's not that, there's no numbers that are too crazy there. There's no numbers that we can't, replicate or make something similar to. I mean, mankind has made these machines that can move things around for us, that can pave roads. This was unheard of in the past. Like, people probably thought it was crazy to even think that there would be machines moving around, like that would be mobile and can move stuff around. I mean, they might have used like simple machines and stuff, but that's that's different than like having a tractor that has an engine and it runs and it does things. That's different. And now you got machines, and people wouldn't have thought of this, 500 years ago. But you have machines that think, not just add two numbers or something, but they do very complex computations better than a human. And now we have a computer, of course, that can play this ancient game with strategy better than a human. Not a chess game where you can count all your moves and things like that, but an actual strategic based game. I mean, we're making all these steps, and it's happening like exponentially. So if somebody doesn't believe the next step is possible, you just show them the history of all these other steps and be like, look, nobody thought those were possible, or some may have, but to the common person, like, they didn't necessarily have a reason to think that this was possible, that there would be some machine thinking faster than them or something. It's just silly that a machine would think, or So I don't know if I need more iron or what I should do about that. Do I need iron? I have iron. I should probably make myself some armor or something. But yeah, here's some iron, so yeah, let me know what you guys think about like AlphaGo and all that stuff. And I know there's the hype, like the ratio of hype to how important the actual research is, like, goes up a lot when there's something visible like that. Like when there's something like, oh, we beat, a human, like, everyone's into competition and things like that. Of course the hype's gonna be up, and it's gonna look bigger than it actually is. Like, they didn't really, in my mind, like, they didn't do anything that, like, that. I mean, like Minecraft, for example. Like, I love Minecraft. I love Notch. I love everything about Minecraft. But the game, like, literally did not, like, the game itself did not impress me at all. I was basically like, why wasn't this already made? Like, this should have existed like 10 years ago. I mean, the game code, like, the idea of the game itself did not surprise me at all. And it's fine if for some people if it did. I'm not gonna say everyone's the same and or anything like that, but me personally, like, it did not. There's nothing about this game that seemed out of the ordinary. It just seemed like something that should be there, something that I already, hoped would be there. Something where you can be creative and play a multiplayer. I already knew I liked that kind of stuff, and now, games. I already knew, like, I wanted there to be games that, when you changed something, when you placed an item down, you could come back later and see that it was still there, no matter how big the game was. Now you need pretty big, blocks in order to handle all that memory, apparently. But I knew that kind of stuff could have happened because of Zelda and some other games, and I was interested in them. But I really liked the games where, you know, wasn't as pre-programmed, and that's what I like about Minecraft. Not everything is pre-programmed. You know, you can build, and you can build functionality, and that's good. It's intrinsic. It's not like you build this preset thing that says when you build this, you automatically get more health, and you automatically beat the game, and you know, it there's intrinsicness. Like you actually build something that you actually need, like physically, in the game. Not because the game says you need it, but because you you just but because it works better. Like the game doesn't say like you need a dirt house, but the dirt house just simply helps you because it keeps, you know, mobs out and things like that. The game doesn't say you need to build a redstone circuit and then gives you an accomplishment that lets you beat the game. No, no, no. The redstone circuit gives you a machine that produces, you know, stone or something useful. That's what's beautiful about it. It's intrinsic. That's why I get angry when somebody makes a server and they try to basically say, oh, you know, you can start your town and on the server, and the way you do that is you /town and request, and you can ask for protection and all this stuff. And I'm like, but that's not intrinsic. That's like we only have it because you made it a thing. You know, if my town had intrinsic value, there wouldn't be automatic money, you know, managed by the server. It would basically be the people in my town, you know that if they donate diamonds or redstone or whatever to the community of the town, that it's going to help us, you know, build a town hall and help us protect ourselves and help us grow and produce even more resources. So if they donate, you know, 5 pork chops today, it'll probably help them get 30 pork chops, you know, tomorrow. You know, because they helped feed someone who was building us a bigger pig farm or something. That's intrinsic value, and that's what I like about this game. It's intrinsic, and other games are not intrinsically valued. And I don't get how people, you know, big corporations, how they think. I don't think they necessarily think all the time like they should, but that's just my opinion. They do just try to make money, and it's sad that Microsoft sucks, and I hate them, but I guess that's just how it is. Guess I just do. So, oh well. Guess they don't really want to innovate, so I'll just have to do something on my own, and then when they want to use it, I'll tell them, I'll ask them, you know, where were you when I told you about this idea in my phone interview? And they say, oh, that was just some interviewer. And I would say, well, maybe from now on you'll not make the mistake of not paying attention to your interviewers. Maybe pay a little more attention to the people who try to, you know, get a job. Because you just put 2 and 2 together. I mean, you got someone who grew up in a conservative Christian family who basically refuses to lie about anything ever, put together with getting pretty much 3.8 GPA at a decent high school for 3 out of the 4 years, except for a year, obviously, when I got depressed. and then went through the military, which I claim kind of slowed me down a little bit in some areas, and who's highly addicted to a game. So my grades aren't necessarily going to be that impressive, but if they're still greater than a 3.0, and I'm still doing all these crazy things and not necessarily studying for tests, then maybe I have at least some intelligence worth speaking for. But, putting that aside, maybe it's not useful intelligence or something. But let's see, let's go back to the not lying part. So then I make the claim that I have this understanding for the future in technology. And on top of that, I've seen plenty of technologies fulfilled basically predictions that I've made in technology and things. And so if all my predictions have happened, and if I'm claiming this, that I understand this future technology and that I understand how to make a better game and or a better development style, maybe, just maybe, you should believe me. Just saying. Maybe. Could be wrong, right? Could be completely off. Don't know anything what I'm talking about. I have no idea what I'm talking about, right? So, but if we go with that route, if we just assume that I don't know what I'm talking about, and someday, if by chance that's wrong, if by chance that I actually did know what I was talking about, well, I'm not going to be too impressed with anyone who wasn't willing to invest, willing to kind of understand, if you will, my vision of the future. So there will be some who do understand, some who don't. What I liked about Tesla is he never even gave away all his secrets. He just said, I know the future. I know what's happening in the future. He was talking about cell phones, and people still, I guess, don't understand how he did all his experiments, which I love that. I think it's awesome because it's just a way to rub in to show society how wrong they are. It's to show society like, hey, if this guy died penniless and you're still trying to figure out with your billions of dollars how he did his experiments, are you still that blind? Are you still so blind that you can't realize that there are Teslas every day? There are Teslas born every day, and you just refuse to listen to them. You refuse to understand them. You refuse to give them some money. You refuse to give them some resources. You refuse to support them, to support people who care about them. Wow, that's really annoying lag, but okay, whatever. I don't like how it phrases. I think that's really annoying. Yay, freeze, Minecraft, freeze. So yeah, I don't know all the optimizations that are done in Minecraft, but I tried to make some HTML games similar to this game, and I don't know how to get it to, like, I don't know enough about the actual, like, drawing optimizations. Because because I wanted to kind of work on my game with a friend. I actually had a friend who we were coding, but just to get this to work at all was kind of difficult. So yeah, it's okay. Not everyone is a Tesla though. Not everyone needs to be one. It would be cool if Teslas got popular. You know, if the innovators were kind of the leaders, if you will, for a while. But you know, they're not the only ones around. You got the people who, and it's not. I don't even think it's you're born that way. I think it really has to do with, like, you might have a tendency, but to actually decide whether someone is or isn't, like, there's some nurture in there too. It's like they actually have to have this problem that they're like, oh, I want to solve this particular problem. I ran into a guy today at the grocery store, and I turned back and I said, wait, do you work at that and it's this warehouse place? And he said, yeah, I work there. He's like, I thought I recognized you. And you know, I guess he's worked there for the last 26 years. And I said, you know, when I worked there, and I know this sounds random, but I'm just bringing it up because it kind of made me sad when I saw him, or after I talked with him, because I don't think he had a ring on his finger, and he just kind of seemed like a quiet kind of. I said, are you gonna work there, you know, the rest of your life? Is that where you're gonna be? Because I know when I went to that warehouse, after like a month or so, I had this thought of like, I can't do this anymore. Like this, I'm literally just coming here and doing nothing but the same exact thing every day, putting boxes on the pallets, putting the pallet down and getting another pallet, doing it again like 10 times, 5 times, whatever, in one day. Every day. Forever. And that's your life. Like, that is your job. And I don't think he even had a family to go home to because he didn't have a ring on his finger, and I wasn't sure I wasn't sure. But I felt bad. You know, maybe I don't know. I don't know if he was an innovator for anything during his life, but even if he wasn't, maybe it's just because he didn't come across. Maybe that's what he enjoys doing, is just doing this job of his. And so, you know, some people, they fit in somewhere, and I guess that's what they do. That's, you know, they have their job, they fit in, they're depended on, and that's what they do. And it's cool. That's most of the time, those are the people I talk to. Those are the people I meet. Those are people I ask, oh, hey, how have you been doing? So, yeah. It's kind of funny because I think the way it worked, because I'm talking about this whole innovator thing, because I went to this leadership class and they separated us into groups, basically saying that you either tend to be an innovator or an adapter. Where an adapter is someone who doesn't so much invent new things as like perfect what's already there. And I think I used to kind of be an adapter, because I used to kind of I loved taking ideas that someone already had, but being like, no, here's the best way to do it, or here's the better way to do it. Like perfecting kind of the original goal. And in some sense, that's kind of what everything is anyway. But I have probably gotten in a little innovative, because the more I learn, the more I realize how much people don't know and how much companies don't know and how poorly they actually operate. I always thought they were perfect, they were good, and they're actually pretty junky. Some of the best companies in the world at certain things are pretty bad at. You'd be surprised how, or at least I was surprised at how poorly they do certain things. Um, so, so yeah, ever since that, I've kind of turned more towards innovation and because also at the same time I was coming up with some ideas and kept feeding the ideas until either the idea was pointless or led to something awesome, and it seems to lead to something awesome. So yeah, but I'm not going to stress myself out, because this is the thing, like, a lot of people get through school and everything, get through life, and they think that they always got to be working, they always got to be doing something, and then they'll make progress. But it's really not about how much work you do, it's about what the work is, it's about the quality, it's about, is this a good investment? Like, you can make one program, you can make one piece of software, and if it's twice as good as another piece of software in quality, it might have 100 times the sales or 100 times the impact. Here's another idea. So take that. So the innovators, I'm guessing, are these kind of crazy people that either most of them don't get a lot of money. Like this is how it is with mathematicians. 99% don't get any money, but the guys who started Google technically were mathematicians, and they made tons. They made billions. So they offset the average. They didn't really offset the median, which is really low, but they made the average mathematician look like they were rich just because of those couple guys, right? So that's kind of how it is with innovators, I think. But sometimes even the genius ones, they don't strike it rich. Now the adapters, those would be all those friends that I had, that I helped through, college classes and stuff at U of I, and they get hired by Google or Facebook or whatever. Most of the time, though, it's kind of frustrating because it seems like they don't want to work on something unless they make money from it. And, that makes me sad, because I kind of feel the pressure from them that they think I should work, try to get a job at some big company or something, and as if I don't have my own ideas or I don't have anything to kind of contribute. And I don't think that's good. I don't think that's a... Why is my boat... Did it bounce? And I don't know what happened. So I don't think it's good to expect too much from someone as far as what their career should be. But it seems like to me they don't know, what someone's going to do when they're studying. They just think, well, I know that I can get money and be taken care of, and so if I just go do that, I'm good, and I don't have to worry about being this guy's friend anymore, or I don't have to worry about, taking care of this guy or trying to help him finish, research anything like that. And to me, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I guess you're set then, there's nothing I can do to make you depend on me. You'll have a job where you make 130 grand. It doesn't even matter if I make $1 billion. I can make $1 billion tomorrow, and they don't have to say a word to me. They don't have to say, "Oh, hey, would you hire me or anything?" They don't need that. They already have all you. They're already on top of the game. You know that if you're getting 130 grand a year, you're good. You can take your family and you can you don't have to worry about things if you don't want to. And that seems to be the way things roll a lot of the times. People will just get these jobs and they'll doesn't matter if you're trying to do something awesome or if you're trying to save the world or anything like that. You know what? They'll get offended even if you try to say, "Hey, you know, things aren't what they should be." You know, because they're happy with their money, they're happy with their paycheck, and that's it. And that's what I get. And this is the vibe I get from what's supposed to be, you know, an innovative tech company. And yet that's the vibe I get. I get this kind of vibe from people who go to work at, you know, tech companies. They act like they're innovative, but even just from their tone of their voice, it's like they just are relieved, you know, glad that they have all this money. And it's scary, you know. So, but yeah, I would say don't always spend your time coding. Like some people say code, 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 or something like that. Like, and that's fine. That's how some people like to do it. They like to make a bulk of whatever and try different things. It's fine. But there's certain things that you can't just do that. There's certain things that take thought and it's really, it could be as simple as a couple of lines of mathematics. In physics, sometimes, you know, it's just one number, you know, that someone's working towards. And it sounds so simple, but that one number is really important. It's really important to know what that number is, because it helps, you know, helps us understand what's actually going on. What, you know, what's the shape of the universe we're in? You know, because space-time has a hyperbolic shape. If you didn't realize that before, and you know, when they collide particles together, they try to figure out whether either we're in parallel universes or whether you know, something else is true. And yet the two theories that they had didn't hold up to the particle. And so that's important. Something very simple, something very concise. And I've even heard from someone who was in physics who said he was not satisfied with it. He didn't like how in physics he just makes a number. Well, we get to make, you know, software and all this stuff. And so he was working on making software. And this was back at University of Illinois at Chicago years ago. I just remember this guy saying that. And you know, I think you can strike some interesting stuff in software though too. I mean, even when somebody proves a conjecture, their proof, just their proof saying that it's true. Forget the length of the proof itself, but just saying, "Hey, I proved that true." I mean, it's so simple of a statement. It's so small of a It's like an enumerated value of a 1 or a 0, and yet it's important. So I'm gonna let it 11,800. And I keep going east while talking about technology, whatever, garbage. So I think I'll end it here. I need to get some rest. I'll see you guys later.